All right, welcome back to the Top Step. It's time for the San Juan Seltzer interview. I have got all-star closer sitting next to me, Andrés Muñoz. Andrés, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Hey, listen, I'm going to get straight to this. Before the show, before we jumped on, I was asking you some of the regular questions, how you met your wife. Now, I asked you, I said, you met in high school, and you said, well, we met at track and field.
Yes.
Tell the story, man.
So
You tell it. I had no idea.
before I did it at the same time that I was playing baseball.
Yeah.
But at the age of 12, I started earlier, but I started to do track and field like for real when I was 12.
Like seriously, not just messing around.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was a triple jumper.
What? I had no idea. Triple jump. Because that's pretty niche, right? I mean, like, long jump, or you run track, you run a 200 meter.
Mm-hmm.
But what got you into triple jump?
I started to, at that age, you have to run 75 meters. You don't run 100.
Right.
Then we tried the 75 meters. I was good, but not good enough to be competitive with other guys, other kids.
Yeah.
And then we tried the long jump. I was good in the long jump, but not that much.
Okay.
And in triple jump, I was obviously being humble.
Right.
I was really good.
Yeah, because you said you went to the nationals a couple times.
Yes, 2 times.
My God, man. So, even at that age, were you okay? I want to get to you as a teenager here and as a kid too, because it's fascinating. We see all these kids trying to throw gas and everything. You throw really hard, obviously. So, at that age, did you have coaches and people say, "Hey, listen, this is your future, track and field. We want you to take this seriously"?
Not really, because at that age, you have like a some like you say, if at 13 you jump 13 meters, it's good.
Yeah, gotcha.
But you can never. It's really hard to go like over that. Like after 13, after 14 meters, it's really hard to go more than that.
Gotcha.
So you never know if you ever going to do it. You can train like a lot, and you can still doing the same 14 meters for all your life.
Yeah, gotcha.
So they say it's really hard to know if you're going to like get better in that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you work for get better, but you never know if you're going to get better.
Yeah, and it gets it gets tough, man. Especially too when you're growing and kids get stronger all of a sudden at 15. This kid all of a sudden gets bigger and stronger. What did your wife do? Track and field?
She did 800 meters and 1500 meters.
Wow. How long did she keep that up? Like competitively?
Oh, she did it for like 5 years.
Really? Wow.
5 years. Then both of us got hurt, and we didn't do that anymore.
Do you guys watch the Olympics?
Yes.
And you're paying attention, triple jumps, and oh yeah, man, he messed that up.
You know that one weird thing was like, I think it was last year when it was the Olympics, right?
Yeah, was it last year? Yeah, 24. Yeah.
I was so excited to watch, and you know that by the time that they are doing the Olympics over there, was like 3 a.m.
Right.
But I know that I have to make sure that I am rested for come here and play. But at the same time, I had so much.
Right.
I want to watch all the Olympics.
So is that why, that was what, early August? Is that why all of a sudden you're giving up hits, man? You was up till 3 a.m. watching triple jump.
No, I didn't do that. But my wife was the one who was doing that, and and as soon as she saw something that was like what we used to do, like 800, 1500, or triple jump or javelin throw. I used to do javelin, but just a little bit because it's too much for the elbow. But as soon as we saw something like that, she woke me up.
Right, gotcha.
And I said, okay, let's see this and then sleep again.
The other thing is too, when you're in the States, it's the same as in Australia, but when you're in the States, if it's not an American who's dominating, they're probably not going to show it either, right? Like, I don't know if there's any Americans dominating triple jump, so it's not going to be like prime time where they show it, you know what I mean? I don't know, maybe there is, I don't know, excuse me if there's an American triple jumper out there, but NBC's
you guys have one, I don't remember the last name, but you got one that is one of the best.
Well, you're talking American? Or
American.
Yeah, I'm Australian, so whatever.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, you're all good.
All right. I should have figured out for you.
So back to being, your early teens. Were you one of these kids who were just head and shoulders thrown way harder than everyone else? Because I mean, you throw 100 now.
When I was a kid, I probably since I was 15,
Okay.
I started to throw hard.
Right.
But I that is what I say a lot of times. I didn't do anything special.
Right.
I was just like normal kid. Obviously, we did a lot of things besides throwing.
Yeah.
Besides baseball, with it, I swim.
Yeah.
I did triple jump. I did a lot of explosive things.
Right.
Javelin throw for a little bit, and I think all those things. When you
Yeah.
do all the combination of those things, like you get something like good. And I felt like I never did anything special.
Right.
Like, I did normal things like everybody can do that.
Yeah.
And then I did the jump of start throwing 94, 95.
So you think because I'm going somewhere with this. You feel like because you're doing explosive movements, track and field, or that was a really good foundation basically
Yes.
to help you. You know what's so funny, man? When I was 17, I started training with a sprinter. And I started doing like a ton of sprint training. And it was more because I just wanted to be faster. It's one of these things, especially I was playing in the field. I'm like, I wanted to run faster. But man, my velocity jumped, man. The minute I started like doing that explosive style training, and I tried to keep it up the whole time, my early 20s. So, all right, I was going to ask you this later. So let's say you've got a 15-year-old kid in front of you right now, and they do so much stuff like specialized, right? Like, weigh the ball stuff, and it's also specialized to throw gas. So if you had a 15-year-old in front of you, what kind of advice would you give them to say, all right, if you want to throw hard, maintain velocity and everything else, what are some things that you're like, hey, this is what I did?
I will do exactly the same thing that I did.
Really?
Yes, I don't. Obviously, I respect a lot of what they are doing like right now, but sometimes I feel like it's not safe for the arm.
Yeah,
you know.
for sure.
I think we have to like obviously doing the things that you have to do to like throw harder and all those things, but at the same time you have to be really careful on your do the straining that you have to the strength that you have to do to because this needs to be ready for throwing that hard.
Yeah.
If you don't get this ready first and you start throwing hard, something is going to hurt.
It's a great point. And
So-
I see that all the time, man. I like these kids that they do like the running guns or like and it's like, I'm looking at them, I'm like, dude, you haven't got like the foundation or the strength to be able to keep that up.
Yes.
And it's just, it's such a good point.
And that is why I say what I say about I didn't change. If I can change whatever I did, I didn't change. I don't change anything because we did a good foundation before we start throwing that hard.
Yeah.
So I think that is why everything was, all my body was ready to throw what I threw.
Yeah. When you signed to come over with the Padres, how hard were you throwing when you signed?
90. The last time that they met me before the sign was 96.
96. Okay. So you were pumping mid 90s as what? Like we're talking you signed when you were like 17, 18?
16.
16. So you signed pretty early. Okay. So you were pumping mid 90s at that age, and then what do you feel like got you to get into being 98 to 100?
Probably the time. Like,
just the time, like
the time, the body more mature.
Right. Yeah.
And one of the other things, like I telling you this, like 90, I threw 96, 97, but I didn't throw a single strike. That was the other thing.
I was getting there.
When I was in rookie league, I had the same amount of innings. Was the same amount of walks that I did. So. That is what I say. Like it has to be natural. It has to be like with time. Yeah. You don't have to. I say in this because I want like the other kids know about this. Like you don't have any rush. Like you're going to get there at some point. Obviously, it's good that you're doing stuff to throw harder, but it's not just throw hard. It's throw strikes.
Yeah.
So you can throw hard everywhere, but how you going to do it for like? Getting to the point that you wanted. And my point saying that was like, yes, I threw hard, but I threw
Right.
everywhere.
Well, at what point and what was it that got you in the strike zone?
The reps.
Just the reps.
I didn't use the reps. I started to throwing, and then I remember one day I felt like really bad.
Yeah.
Bullpen, really bad bullpen, and then I was just focusing. Obviously, don't point to use one place because
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Right.
But I said I'm just going to throw right in the middle.
Okay.
Right in the middle.
Okay.
I don't going to make the catcher move.
Yeah.
You set right in the middle, and I'm going to try to throw it there.
Right.
Obviously, I missed, but I missed around that area.
Right.
And that was when I started to like. Obviously, I don't know how far it's going to be from the plate, but I was
Right.
on the strike zone, and that is when I started to throw strikes.
I try and tell kids that all the time, man. Like, no balls, no strikes. Just have the catcher sit up down the middle. Like, unless you are like ridiculous, just throw it down the middle and then go from there. Yes. And then that's just that starting point. All right, I want to get into this. So, last year you make the All-Star team, and now here you are just dominating here at the major league level. When you first got to the Seattle, I remember I kind of had a conversation with you about this, but you were throwing a lot of sliders, right? A lot of breaking balls. And you did make a comment. I don't know if you remember this. You're probably like, no, I never said that. But you did say this to me. You said that you didn't feel confident with your fastball at times. And I was like blown away. I'm like, dude, you're throwing 100. Like, do you remember those days? Like, first time you come off TJ, you got traded over to the Mariners, and you were slider heavy. Do you remember those days where it's like there was a certain pitch you just didn't feel comfortable with?
I remember at that time I was feeling really comfortable with the slider for some reason.
Yeah, right.
But the fastball, I didn't have the feeling of it.
Okay.
So I didn't have the ability of if I'm going to throw the fastball, I wasn't able to get it like up.
Gotcha.
So I leave it right in the middle.
Gotcha.
Or I leave it down, and that is where and that is why I wasn't with confidence on throwing that pitch.
I understand. Okay, so basically you just didn't have the feel where it's end up down the middle. You get some of that contact, and you're like, oh man.
Probably the most of the hard contacts that I was having was with the with the fastball, but that was the reason because I didn't have the feeling of it, and I leave everything in the middle.
Right.
So obviously they're going to hit it. It's a big league. They can hit everything. Doesn't matter how hard you throw.
And then obviously last year, you make the All-Star team. Now you're known nationally. Everyone knows who you are. You know what I mean? And you've sort of morphed your way into from that point where it was slider heavy. And last year, what point was it last year where you started throwing a two-seamer?
Probably it was after I get back from the injury.
Okay.
No, that wasn't last year.
No, that was
2 years ago.
After TJ?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember at what point I was throwing it a little bit more, but I talked with Trent and Pete about that, and they told me just throw it right in the middle. Throw it right in the middle, and it's going to work. And then I started to throw more, and I started to combine a little bit more the pitches. So
did they suggest that, or were you like, hey, I want to try and throw this pitch?
I don't remember if they told me or I hold it one day and throw it and was good, and then I start throwing it.
Right.
That is how I get the pitches. Like I just holding it. I saw somebody doing that.
Gotcha.
It's like was like the kick change that I learned in a sprint track.
Right. Which now you just saw a regular change.
Yeah, it's now a regular change. And that is what I say when they ask me about if I'm going to continue throwing it. I said I don't know. Like maybe it's one thing that I just one day I threw it and was good, and the next days doesn't work later.
Can you show me how you throw? First of all, your four seam. You can put it up to the camera. Just a regular four seam. Just try and let it eat, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what's your thought? You talked about when you're in A ball, trying to get to basically throwing down the middle and figuring it out. What's your approach now? I mean, are you is there any visual you're looking at when you're throwing?
I saw the mask.
Okay.
The mask, because obviously when I am OO, I try to throw right in the middle.
Okay.
Obviously I never hit the right.
Right.
Even with all these years, I am not able to command 100%.
Gotcha.
Like George is really good doing that. I am like a little bit different with that, but I just try to throw right in the middle. I never hit there. I hit around. But I want to throw it right.
So you're looking at the mask basically with
Yes.
the 4-seam. Now, what about the 2-seam? How are you gripping that?
The 2-seam.
Just like that. And
Yes.
are you basically just not trying to do any manipulation, just straight?
Just try to throw it the hardest
Okay.
I can too.
right.
Right in the middle too,
And make
to
it
be
just
able
go,
to.
shoom. Yeah, dude, it gets down into righties. I'm like, oh, that's nasty.
What I like about the pitch is like when have the drop.
Yeah, right.
I don't like when the ball
man.
is going like
It
this.
stays on
When
the
it
plane.
stays in the same line. I
Right.
like when that team drops.
And then how do you throw your slider?
Like,
Just like that. And what's your thought when you're throwing a slider? You
I think fastballs all the time,
okay.
and at the last moment I do like the
Like you turn a doorknob basically. Like
no
stand on top?
I don't try to do that, but I am just very careful of don't leave it like that.
Yeah, gotcha.
I don't know if you understand that. Like,
Yeah.
Like don't
Try and stay on top of
yes,
it.
try and stay on
basically.
top of
Yeah,
it, but don't
Just bury
without
it.
pushing it.
Gotcha.
Because if I pushing it down, it's like
Yeah.
then it's going to be.
And what's if you lose your slider at times, like let's say you lose it or it's coming outside your hand, is there like a little like trigger or mechanical thing that you go back to try and get back to it? Or is it maybe the simplest, dumbest thing?
Actually, that happened to me like probably like 4 outings.
Okay.
And I wasn't able to
Right.
probably you saw it. I wasn't able to control it to.
Are you talking about the two where you
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember you against the Twins, like the ball was kind of coming out the side a little
Yes,
bit. Yeah.
and I wasn't able to figure it out. And
Right.
that was one thing that get me mad. At that point was like, I'm supposed to know what I'm doing wrong.
Right.
But at that time, I wasn't able to figure it out. Now I know what
Right.
was happening. Normally, my mindset is like, if I am missing that way or the ball is slipping
Right.
that way, probably just like saw a point more in the left side.
Yeah.
And try to like push it
Gotcha.
a little bit.
Gotcha.
But yes, those 2 games was weird because I feel like my slider is good because of my fastball, and my fastball is good because of my slider.
Right.
So when I don't have one of the two, that is a good time to go for
Throw
it.
that. Shoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's wild. Is there any? Actually, I don't want to make you name names here because everyone knows you know, and you're one of the best pitchers in the game. So in case you do have to face him, but you have to name names here. Is there like a guy who you faced the last couple of years? Like, I just can't get him out. Like, if I'm throwing 100 with this and this slider's working that day, but for whatever reason, this guy just sees me. That you're like, oh man, I hate when this guy's at the box. You don't have to name names. You can just does that happen?
Oh yes, of course. I can name names. I don't really.
Go for it. Huh?
The guy who is with the Red Sox, Alex Bregman.
Really? Okay.
In 2022, I had like in my opinion, was like the best slider that I had was like 92, 93 going down.
Right.
Fastball, 101. I don't know, like, and I was really good like placing it.
Yeah.
The pitches, and I remember him and Jordan Alvarez. I remember throwing them the best slider that I ever threw, and they still hitting it. They still hitting it here in the playoffs. Like, and I was like changing the views. Okay, he got a homer with the slider. I don't want to throw a slider again. So I threw the fastball up, and he got a hit over there.
Right.
Then we came here in the playoffs, and I threw. I say, okay, now he got me the 2 of my pitches. I have to throw something out of the zone.
Right.
I threw a fastball up and away, and he hit me a double. And I was like, this guy is like, he got me really good.
Is there anyone that, like, you know, again, don't have to name names, but you're like, that isn't a Bregman or a Jordan Alvarez that people don't know, and it's just like someone who isn't as good, but for some reason, man, you just can't seem to get him out, or it's just a tough at bat?
Yes, that happened to me. I don't want to name names in that. But he got me really good too. And that is why I say a lot of times, like, there is a reason of why he's the big leagues and why are the best of the best here.
Right.
Because you can say in anybody like, oh, I just going to throw it right there and nothing is going to happen. Because you can never like be too like easy in somebody. You have to attack everybody the same. because everybody can do you damage.
Right.
And that is why I always repeat myself to have the same effort and the same energy, same 100% to everybody, because you never know when or who is going to make you like.
Yeah. It brings up something I was thinking about. You brought up the 2 rough games you had in a row. Because being as a starting pitcher, I mean, I pitch in the bullpen. I pitch starter as well. Starting, you can go through your bullpen session. How do you? And everyone thinks, well, he throws 100, it'll be fine. No. How do you get back to just being on track and feeling confident out there after 2 rough ones?
Probably the hard part is to be confident again.
Right.
Even you're going to understand is like, even if you have like a really good year and was like 20 something innings without a earned run. Yeah. With those 2 outings, it's enough to get your confidence down.
Right.
And I understand like it is something that everybody have to work through those things, but always it's good to have people like Trent, like the coaches that are good to remind you like how good you are. And it's not like you need that they tell you. It's just like they make you feel like that is part of the game.
Right.
That's it. Like it's nothing that you can do about it. Just let's keep working on your bullpens and do the same thing that you did for the other 23, 24 innings before.
Right.
And that's it. Like nothing has changed. You didn't do anything wrong, is what they told me. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just like you have to keep working, and that's it.
Is that a time when, I mean, do you get into the analytics? Like you sit there and go, and like, are you one of these people?
No.
No, not at all.
No. I'm more like I let them to. They know more about that than me. Right. So I don't going to put more things in my head. Thinking one who make those things for me is one of my brothers.
Right.
I don't know if you met him, but he's the one who, with the team. Obviously, I take the analytics from the team, but then he do another one for me.
What your brother?
My brother.
Does? Really?
He do the.
What's his background?
He knows a lot about the computers and all those things. So what he do is he study similar pitchers than me.
Oh wow!
And he tell me like, this guy faced him and he did this.
Well, he doesn't have much to work with him, and there's not many guys with your stuff like similar. There's not many pitchers who are similar. Who's someone who's similar to you in the big leagues?
I don't know. My brother is the one who knows.
Right. Yeah.
I don't ask him because
man, there's not many. Like for me, like I'm like looking at like dime a dozen.
But like people who have kind of the same braid than me, the same vertical braid or something like that, or the same type of slider.
Right.
And he compared those, and he tell me, you know what, like this would be a good idea. Obviously, it's not like we don't put attention to what the team give me, but we complement those two things with what the team and what we see from the other side. But I don't put. I try to make it simple. Like for me, it's just like the information that gets to me is like throw this pitch and this pitch and this pitch to this guy.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, Andres, I've kept you for too long. By the way, you didn't even know I was Australian. You didn't even know Liam Hendriks was Australian, by the way. I come to find out, yes. Liam Hendriks, the pride of Australia, he is Australian as well. He's been on the show, by the way. But it's time for How to Speak Australian, brought to you by the Kangaroo and Kiwi. Now, Andres, there's a term we say in Australia a lot. It's called fair dinkum, right? First of all, can you say the words fair dinkum?
Fair dinkum.
Not bad. That's not bad. Now, I'm going to give you multiple choice. What does fair dinkum mean? All right. Is it a term regarding the weather? Does it mean something that's like, it's very true, like it's a true statement? If someone was to say fair dinkum, is it a true statement? Is it to do with the weather? Or does it have to do with like an event, like a party or something, like some sort of event you'd go to with your friends? What do you got?
I got for the second one, the true.
Like true, like that? You
Yes.
go on number 2? Okay, all right. Before I'm going to give him the answer, if you want to play along at the Top Step TV on social media, you let me know. Do you know what the word fair dinkum is? So I'm telling you, Andres, dude, you got it, mate. You nailed it. Fair dinkum. If someone says, "Oh, fair dinkum," it's like a true statement. It's like it's the real deal. Doesn't even sound English, does it?
No. I was thinking about a donkey.
I should have done that I should have been option number 4. Yeah, fair dinkum.
No, but the way that you say it, the way that you describe the number 2,
Right,
I said, he's the number 2 for
fair
sure.
dinkum, yeah. I was trying to throw like a big spectrum of stuff. Andrés, this has been awesome, man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We love watching you pitch, and yeah, this has been fun. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate that.